Dr. Manisha Jain to provide an introduction to the webinar and also introduce the today's speaker. Thank you. I request Dr. Manisha.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pujar. And thank you for organizing this webinar, because it's actually very important for us to understand all of these issues in an academic setting. So a very good evening to all of you, and on behalf of our Director and Vice Chancellor, Professor Basanta Kumar Pradhan, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to this webinar on open licensing to scholarly resources at the Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research. Now, see, this webinar is part of the Institute's ongoing series of webinars that was started in December 2020 with webinar on intellectual property rights. And this is an initiative of our library in association with our internal quality assurance cell. Today's webinar on open licensing of scholarly resources refers to the practice of making academic materials such as research papers, textbooks, and other educational resources available to students, researchers, and the public for free under open license. So there are several open licenses available for scholarly resources, including the Creative Commons license. And these licenses provide a range of options for authors to specify how their work can be used and distributed. Particularly in higher education, open licensing can support the development of innovative teaching and learning strategies, such as open educational resources, which are openly licensed teaching and learning materials that can be freely used, adapted, and shared by educators and students. In addition, open licensing also enhances the impact of research by enabling researchers to make their work available to a wider audience. This can facilitate collaboration and innovation and promote the advancement of knowledge across academic disciplines. And today, we are delighted to welcome Dr. Sridhar Gutam. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, right.
Right. Okay. Thank you. A distinguished senior scientist from Indian Institute of Horticultural Research, Bengaluru, to speak on open licensing to scholarly resources. And it is my privilege to introduce him to all of you. So you'd be wondering that he's working at the Indian Institute of Horticultural Research. So how does it relate to this topic? So although Dr. Gutam is a senior scientist in the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, All India Coordinated Research Project on Fruits, and he did his PhD in plant physiology, and his areas of interest are plant physiology of agricultural and horticultural crops, and plant phenology. But apart from plant physiology, he works for opening up of data and information and application of free and open source software in agricultural research. So he is a member of the CLASSO's working group on commons and open access. And he is also on the board of Agri14, which is an open access preprints repository of agriculture and allied sciences, and Thesis Common, which is an open access thesis repository. So I'm sure with his passion on this topic, which is not his core area, but more of his passion, we are here to learn a lot from him. And I would request all the participants, especially our students, to participate in this webinar enthusiastically and take away as much learning as you can from the webinar. So I would now like to request Dr. Pujar to officiate today's proceeding.
Thank you, Dr. Manisha. Now, without much any delay, so I request Dr. Sridhar Gutam to start his presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pujar and Dr. Manisha. I profusely thank Dr. Pujar to giving me this opportunity to speak on the open licensing. It is a topic of my close interest, and I am a learner of this. I'm a student of this kind of a movement called the openness or the freeness, wherein it is more of freedom than the free of cost. And when being asked to speak on the open licensing aspects, yeah, I was a student of IPR and also part of this open access movement. I thought I should be should not deny it and its opportunity. So I readily accepted, and I'm here to speak to you about the what I learned and to put forth for some discussion so that we all learn from ourselves, like from each other on this kind of a licensing aspects. No, though I'm not from a legal background, but the licensing options are available, and it's been a community driven movement. So being a part of that, so I learned many things and would like to share some of things with you. And I use the openly available scholarly resources and the other resources on the web to make my presentation. Though I have not licensed my presentation, because I just share source from the other sources, so it's not of mine. Yeah, I hope this side is full visible with the slide. The topic.
Yes, Sridhar, it's visible.
Yeah, the topic of today's webinar on open licensing to scholarly resources, as introduced by Ms. Jain, about what are the licenses, and popularly it is the Creative Commons, which we all know. And scholarly resources are not only the research outputs like in journals, but also the other educational materials which are made as prepared by the faculties or the researchers as a part of their work, or as a freelancer, or as a from a to passionately working on something which they wanted to give for the others. When we look at the Google Scholar search engine profile page, we read that standing on the giants of shoulders, because we all are now learning things, because in past many of the scholars have made their works available for us to learn and to use it. Though copyrights are speaking on those things, so the materials which have been made available for us to learn, so we all learn from that, and new knowledge is being created from the old knowledge, because it is being refined. So how during this process, then the copyrights were there, in the sense whenever a resource has been created and it is added to a tangible thing, it gets some kind of protection, that is we all call as a copyright for the literary and artistic things, and musical also. Then the creator owns that the creative work. Then he has an opportunity or option to share with others on a particular terms and conditions, that if he writes onto a paper or he makes as a document and hands it over or makes it available for others along with his creative work, that gets called as a license. The work has been licensed to some person or group of person, or for everyone who is looking at the creative work or literary or artistic work. So when we tag it with a document, and it gets, when the people want to use it, so they have to go through the license. They will know what are the terms and conditions and how extent they can go, and what are the various means. Maybe they can use it for their own personal use or for some other purpose. All things will be written. So that is being now talked about along with the copyrights. Okay, we all see this one nowadays. Now, not many of are having this kind of a copyright symbol on the books, but not many, but majority of have this copyright symbol and all right reserved, which means that the holder of this or the creator of this who has not transferred, they have the all right reserved. But as a changing times, as a changing technology, and also making it easy for people to communicate, share. So then the concept have come that why cannot I share with others on some conditions, so that my works get visible, and I get more collaborations. I my work reach to others, and my works may be useful for others to create on that, instead of we call as a reinventing the wheel. So when I license it on some terms and conditions, the others will make use of it, and then the overall the benefit, the society gets benefited because of the this kind of a flow of knowledge from one to other through some kind of a transformations it's a positive transformation. Okay. So this now has been changed, and the new concepts have come, that is the Creative Commons, which we'll be talking about. But whenever this copyright symbol, if it is given, put on the creations or not, but it is like the creator will get the rights, and they may register with under the Copyright Act with the government agency, Copyright Authority, or else it is as like the creator has already got it because it's there on his name. Like this presentation is copyrighted by me, unless I put a symbol that already reserves, and if I put some other license, so on that terms and conditions only it will be available. Now in my presentation I have not put any license, so this is the one thing which restricts the others to use, whether people can use it or not. Means as a default it is copyrighted, so they cannot use it, so they need to ask me, they need to write to me, they need to search about me, my email, my mobile number, where I am, and then reach out to me and then seek my permission. So I may give it, I may deny it, it's up to me. But before somebody asks, if I license it on some terms and conditions, that is the we call as open license. And our Copyright Act also under this section 30 has mentioned that the owners of the copyright can license it. Apart from the creators, there is a compulsory license also. There is a mention for the disabled one, and then WIPO is now talking about there is a treaty on also that the creative means all the copyright works should be licensed for the benefit of the disabled. And if for the translations also it should be licensed, because like suppose in this English we have written and that needs to be translated into other language without distorting any the thing content of it, it requires compulsory licensing. That is also possible under this act. So licensing is possible, and under the act, and also under the act we can keep our rights reserved also. So we'll just go into the definitions and also importance in the coming slides. Like when we say about open license, when you say about open access, we are all listening what is open access, open licensing, open standards. What does exactly open mean? So there is a definition given by the opendefinition.org, and it has also been translated into many languages, and people are trying to coin the correct suitable word for this open in other languages also, because in Latin America, if you say, they'll not talk about freedom, they'll say libri. So they say there is a difference between the free and libri. I'm pronouncing correct, I guess. And then open. So what does it open means? It means they have given, like for the open data or content, the basic thing is it is free to access, use, modify, share for any purpose. That is again a legal lawful purpose. So that is that definition has been incorporated. That means what does it mean? Open has been defined by this open definition. And when what is the importance of licensing? So I said like licensing is a text of a document has been made by the creator for the others to give it on some terms and conditions. So why he is giving is he or the persons who has created, they want to make their content, their work visible to other. And if you talk about the scholarly researches or the research, the research he has created, means published, should get visible and then should have an impact. Means how it will be impacted when people uses it. So when I give a permission to use it under various terms and conditions, my data or the figures or the methodology, whatever the flow charts which I have created into that. So all these things, if I'm giving it before people ask, So they will definitely ready to take it, because there will not be any time lag between like seeking permission. And because of this, like removing this barrier, there will be a wider dissemination of that research. And because of wider dissemination and no access or legal barriers, because no restrictions are kept on that, so there is a collaborative opportunities, which again helps in more the advancement of knowledge. And nowadays, like the funders are also asking the like when a funder funds for my research, it will ask that I should make my data and information available for others. So I can put up a license under which terms and conditions it will be available. Why? Because see, copyright has a already reserved, will not make any person to use it for what extent. And even if I license it, I am the still creator. I own the copyright and I own the moral rights. If I am not transferring to others, or like economic rights also will be with me. But when I transfer and also try license it, so that economic rights only gets changed. Maybe I license for non-commercial, I also license for commercial aspects. Nevertheless, this open licensing is now growing among all the open access journals are using this license. Most popularly, this Creative Commons. We'll be talking it in the coming slides. The two type of licensing aspects which all we know or we come across when you search on a search engine, it is the one is the Creative Commons license, most popular, and the others, there are many other license, like mostly that is being used for the in software coding or software licensing. Like the most popular will be GNU license and MIT open license, or like many are there, which will be talking list out is there. But those are all the open licenses. But Creative Commons is being used because there is a more community involved into this, and it's a bigger way it is coming up, reaching out to the everyone. So it's getting more popular, and more search engines are also have this, like when you look at the advanced search engine of the Google, it can filter out on terms of Creative Commons license or also open license, which says you can use for the derivations, you can use for the non-commercial or commercial aspects. So that to such extent you can filter your content, because the license have been tagged. And license, this Creative Commons has a peculiar thing is it is not only a text which just we look at and read it, it also has the icons, pictures, which will make it more identifiable. And also it has a machine readable license and legal license. So all gets incorporated. So that's how it's becoming more popular. And also technologically, it is being compatible with others to search engines. See, these are the Creative Commons license. If when you visit this creativecommons.org, you will find these license pictures or the logos, which has a different conditions, like CC BY. BY is attribution. So that is the highest form of license. When you look at this, when a work has been tagged with this logo, it means that you can use it for any purpose, in the sense commercial purpose as well, but you have to attribute it. But if the same work has been given as a public domain tag or logo has been added to that, that doesn't require any attribution also. But if it is you seek an attribution, so you have to use this CC BY license. And if you want to use give your work to others on a same terms and conditions, like suppose somebody uses your work and you have given on certain licensing terms and conditions, those person who are using and also remixing or adapting it for some other purpose have to share on the similar conditions as you have given to them. That is share alike. And if you add this NC, it is non-commercial, so no commercial aspects. And non-commercial share alike. This is also another combination. And there is a no ND, no derivations. Means a poem should not be made into a song, or that song should not be made make picturized something like no derivations, as it is has to be used. And the least is non-commercial, no derivation. The highest is, you can say, the public domain, also the CC BY, but the least will be CC BY NC ND. And how to means apply this license. See, you might like you don't need to register it. As soon as any work is being created, it has a copyright. The author will have the copyright, and author will choose a license. It's up to him to choose it. And now, if you see any preprint repositories, if you look at it, default license is CC BY. There is no other license for some of the platforms, but some have the platforms where you can choose it what as you require. Like if you are looking at the Shodh Ganga like thesis repository, it has a license of non-commercial share alike. And there, like for some of the repositories, when you are like the OSF, Open Science Framework preprint repositories, when an author is submitting a preprint article to that repository, he can choose the license of his choice. So, and how you choose, how you learn, there is a link on that, how to choose a license. It has so many questions, like you click on the what aspects. If you say, if you want to derive it, make it as a non-derivative, if you choose that one, so non-derivative option license will be chosen for you. So there is a chooser beta creativecommons.org. That link will help you in choosing the conditions. So this Creative Commons has the 4 conditions. That's what we were seeing it: attribution, share alike, non-commercial, no derivatives. And these 4 conditions will be mixed, and then it has a 6 license. The highest is CC BY, or you can say CCO, where is public domain, and the least is the all right reserved, and the next is the only you can share it. That yellow, if you see that 2 ND and NCND are only next to what is the restriction. But if you go up, the more greener part is CC BY SA and CC BY. CC BY SA is the commonly used by the Wikipedia, and some of the other popular websites also uses this, which they want to give for the people to give on the same licensing condition how they have given to us to use it. But here there is a like schools of thought on whether a license, whether we make any work should be made available as a commercial or non-commercial. Usually when we say that commercial aspects means somebody gets profit out of my work and I should not give on the commercial aspects. But I will be okay if I make it available under non-commercial. But maybe in long run, if I have not given a commercial license to my work, and like suppose I have made one book which says share alike only, no commercial aspects, and the book has out of print and it is only 1 copy of it. Okay, libraries can take more copies, but outside in a photocopy shop or anyone who would like to make copies of it, and that involves some investment in digitization or making a copy or printing it. So if it is not commercial license is given to that, so there will not be any person who can take for making it available. So there will be a restriction. So that is one school of people, they are talking on that. But Latin America, they were clear on that. Most of their works are available only on non-commercial aspects. And for our journal also, we have taken the license for non-commercial share alike, which is again not a free license. So free licenses means these licenses should get mixed with the other license. Like what is happening is pandemic time, or most of the teachers or the faculties have to create some educational material from the available resources or internet web. If they don't have the permissions before like given, it was hard for them probably to choose the content to make it available. Though under the copyright law we are permitted to teach under the we can teach for the education purpose, no copyright restrictions. But to make something else or some other purposes, if it is not properly licensed, in the sense not freely licensed, there will be a problem. Like you cannot mix two licenses together. Like the picture has a CC BY and a text is not a CC BY. So can we mix it? So what they say is from the remix option towards up, it's all free license. So you can mix any of the content, like a picture from under different license, a text from a different license, a sound from a different license. So all you can be mixed. But if you cannot mix the non-commercial non-derivatives within a CC BY. So there is the one thing. So what the advocates advise is go for more liberal, that is more towards the CC BY aspects. Some of our noted websites like the NISCAR's repositories licensed under CC BY no derivatives. NROER is the National Repository of Open Education Resource. Now this site is no more available, but when it was made available, it was CC BY SA. Here, see, there is a commercial aspect also. I mean, those educational materials were also made, can be used by under commercial. It's only CC BY SA. Now it has been merged with some other website. There is no explicitly mentioned on the website of this logo, but in the text they have mentioned, which I will tell you in the next things. And these Creative Commons license are being popularly used on many of the platforms. So if you go to your YouTube, when you upload your YouTube video, there will be a default license given by the terms conditions made by the YouTube create Google itself. But if you want to choose it for some other purpose, for other license, you can choose from it. Flickr, though it is now paid one, but all the photographs which you upload into that, you can choose the license. Either it can be public domain to restrict to all right reserved. Wikimedia Commons, it has the default CC BY or SA, or you can say whatever the license you would like to. PLOS is the one journal for the scholarly communications. It uses CC BY for all the articles. Means I can download the articles from PLOS and print as a book and sell it. So to that extent they are giving it, but because they are charging the APC, so maybe that is going to compensate for that. But and when I'm talking all these things, it is two people. Like people think that it's being public funded research organization. So I'm working with the public money. So my all works should be made publicly available. And if I am working for an organization and organization wants me to give away rights to them, I keep my moral rights and I transfer to them all the rights, and they will license on their terms and conditions. Some of the other resources which are using CC BY is the Karnataka Open Education Resources, and the NCTE also uses CC BY NCSA, non-commercial share alike, and the NCRT books are the license under CC BY NCND. So you cannot sell your NCRT books by downloading and printing it, but you can source from them and then do the business. That is something else. But and no derivatives. You should not derive, means meddle with the content which they are given. But they have another website called Vidyadan, where you created some educational materials during your classroom teaching. You can share it under the license of your choice, NCSA or normally SA. And we have one private bookstore. It's a kind of NGO, but it's private, you can say. They are commercially, they print books, they create books, story books, and all those storybooks are made available under CC BY license. Means I can use it for any extent for commercial purpose also. And another Netaji Subhash Open University, they also made all their education materials under CC BY NCSA. IGNO was thinking to make the contents OERs with this license, but we don't know reasons. They have not taken up any stand as of now, but they are collaborating with Commonwealth of Learning, wherein the collaborated materials are available under CC by NC, I guess. So these are about the Creative Commons license, and there are other open licenses called, I was talking about, one is General Public License, GPL, being used for the software, and MIT license is also for software, Apache, Open Data Commons, Open Data License. These are the licenses which have been made specifically for some segments, like for the software or for the data. So a data has been put up in a database, whether that data will be made available for what purpose, how the users can use, modify, and share it. So all these things are all inbuilt into that. It is we can choose what license, or we have to go with under what license have been given to us. So we were talking about the importance, and to just go forward again to reiterate, open licensing, because before somebody asks, it has been given under some terms and conditions. So that will means remove the barriers, that is access barriers, can say, because people can take it before seeking your permission. It's already given, and softwares or any other technical barriers are all nullified, because like if you say the Internet Archive, when I put my journal online, it under some license, which is free license, that open license on Creative Commons, it takes the content uploaded and makes a copy of it available under Internet Archive. It is because means it is there and it is safeguarded there. Even if I lose my the content from the physical infrastructure server at my office, I still have a copy of it. Because of the license, my content has been safeguarded. So because of it is safeguarded and it is available for everyone to use it, there is an increased visibility, and eventually there will be an impact in the research, and the wider dissemination will also happen, and collaborative opportunities will come because it is available before it is there for everyone. And this licensing is being used mostly like what we are saying it under the open access movement, where it says that the content, when you define an open access, the content, the scholarly research outputs, if to be called as open access, it should have an open license. Just merely you can say it's open access, but if you give a good proper open license, it will be more better. It's like it's kind of adding more topping up with the for the sweets, like anything. So if you add a open licensing, it gets more beautified. And in the open data also, somebody's calling, 1 minute. Hello. Oh, for my side. Okay. I just learned that there is some connectivity issue. Are they of any having the same issues? Participants? Can anyone tell me whether you are able to see me, hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Maybe at the host has an issue. Okay, we'll continue. Okay.
You can share your presentation.
Okay, this open access movement is using the open licensing. When you say that my article is open access, it means it is available under one open license aspect. Either you can choose a Creative Commons or a similar kind of a license which says what the Creative Commons license CC BY or NC or whatever. You can also use it or you can directly use. So why somebody has to use the Creative Commons is because it has a three-layered. It has a three-layered, which I was talking is like the softwares can identify, humans can read it, legally also the terms and conditions are all there. So just because of this three-layer technical things, and also it can be used to be filter out the content tagged with OA. It's better to use, it is advised to use the Creative Commons license or for the open access articles. And for the open data movement also, the data has been licensed under the open data license. You are being tagged with this. CCO is the open data, because the data cannot be copyrighted. Only databases are copyrighted, but the content can be licensed under the open data license. The BOI definition, if you go and see that any art literature should be, if it has to be called as open access, it should permit anyone who's like user, maybe he can read it, can download, copy, distribute, print, search, or link to the full text with, if you see that there is a without financial, legal, or technical barriers. So here comes the open licensing. There should not be any legal, because copyrights are there with the creator, but they have given it under the legally to others to use it for all this purpose. What is read, download, copy, distribute? And technically, there is no issue in if it is if it is made in a Word document and in a text document, it should be read by the softwares which can take the input from the text, like that. So no technical barriers. Only thing is it should be made available to others to use on these conditions. So all open licensing fits into this, and open access movement is going with the open licensing. World Bank data is all have been licensed under the open data license. So we can use it for our purpose, whatever the purpose they have mentioned there. I was talking about preprints repositories previously. When a scholarly author would like to share his work openly or to share works in the internet for people to use, he may have some apprehensions or which version he should share, or what the journal permits sharing. Now, if you see the ResearchGate is one, like many of our people are sharing their content, and ResearchGate is getting at times some copyright notices from the publishers saying that the copyrighted works have been made available without the permissions of the copyright owners, because authors have transferred the copyright to the publishers, and publishers own the copyright, and without the permission of the copyright owner, that is publisher, the ResearchGate is making articles available for everyone to use, read it. So they have asked them, so when you are uploading any article, it says you have the copyright ownership and you are not transferred, or your content is licensed on some license, and that copy is only your uploading. That's how they ask you when you are uploading. So we should now understand, when we have the manuscript ready with us, and what are the versions. The first draft which we have, that is called the preprint version, that we submit to a journal. Here we own all the copyrights, and that we own still when it is at the post-print as version also. Post-print is where the reviewers has given the comments and you have incorporated, still it is in a Word document of your own typesetted manner, that there also you still have your copyrights. But once it has been accepted and the publishers ask you to transfer the copyright, and you have transferred, and it goes into their thing, and they will have the typeset made, and then fonts will be there, the colors, the aspects, the beautification, all that version, the layout design, all are copyrighted by them. So you cannot use it only what you have that time is the moral rights, but all things have been taken away, given to the publisher. So if you want to make any your scholarly article available for public to use, you should deposit preprints and postprints under the CC BY license or CC BY SA or CC BY NC. But it should be made available, because when the final version may not be immediately available, it may be at the embargo at the publishers for at least 6 months to 1 year, then only it will be made available. So if somebody wants to read your paper, they may cite the published version, but if to access it, they should look at some other alternative. And if you provide the pre-printed postprints under the license of your choice, it will be made available for others, and your work gets noticed, and it will be put for some other purpose, like cited, or will be used for in making the other derivative works. Long back in 2006, I got a survey. I should have updated it with the new any of the new works on these aspects. But when it was conducted in 2006, that survey, like who should be owning the copyright, most of the people, like 71%, says that the authors should keep the copyright with them, because then they will have the control on their works, because they have, if they keep the copyright with them, they can license under their choice to people to use it for a meaningful purpose. And but many of us, when I'm still, like I said, I'm still a student of learning these copyrights and the open licensing. I'm part of the WIPO. We formed a group which we talk, means the leaders of the group talks to the WIPO on copyrights and giving the limitation, more taking out the limitations and making the more copyrighted works of the related to the research should be given more exceptions to the research. So that's how there is a group working on it. I'm part of it. I'm still learning, and open licensing, because still many of us doesn't understand, or they don't know which one to use it. But this Creative Commons license, when we visit the website, we will be knowing it under what conditions, or what are the other, who are the others people similarly sharing our kind of works. We can learn from that, and we can also get an idea under what conditions, terms we should do it. But some of us may think that there is a misuse of content. That I'll use some one text in the next slides to know, to speak on the what are the misuse of the contents, if there are any, under what aspects it will be there, and what are the rights and responsibility of the authors when before giving the open licensing. So many of us have this thing in mind, that there is a potential for misuse if I put my content openly available under the open licensing. It is the first foremost, we think that plagiarism will happen. Yes, openly licensed contents, or any content which is made available on internet, can be copied. But it's good, like if my works are copied, but not for with their names, but if they attribute, like if I write something on something aspects on an article, if it is not, I don't allow somebody to copy it, and that will not be had any republication in any other content. Suppose, like you can see some of the syndicating websites, they will put the content which has been put into one website will be also made available on the other website, because the audience of that websites are different than the content which we initially posted. So that where it is republished will have a link to the original publication website. So my article is now at two places, for one audience which I know, and for others who I don't know. But my attribution is there, my links are there, and there is a link to the original work. So because I have made it under open licensing, my content can be copied and then pasted published in other website with my name on it. But some may think that some may use it and then they put their name. So that is the plagiarism. If They are not attributing it and attributing for themselves. So that is plagiarism. And if it is openly available online or just digital, you can always know who is you can look for the plagiarism check. No need to have a plagiarism check software, but a simple search engines can get you the where this content is available. And some of the contents were what will happen is if it is made available and not properly attributed, the creator's name is not properly given on the content, I mean the work. So it may happen and some other gets cited. I have one example. I reblogged one content on my website. The other person who was citing the content has wrongly cited me. Initially, he should have cited the original where the first work has been published. He cited me. So that is one example of misattribution. But it's a technically thing, and it doesn't mean that he has he attributed for himself. I mean, wrong attribution had any issue. But this may happen, and some may think that it will be misused in the sense which is not been intended. See, I have asked it for given for non-commercial, but they were making it commercial aspects. Okay, but though I am restricting it for non-commercial, but I don't have any control on what for purpose they are using it, because technology is such a way that you cannot have a check on all others. But if I am convinced that my works should get more reproducible things, it should be more available for everybody to use, and it has to be for the public good. So I don't care for it. But there are people who may have to care, because what will happen is, as is misattribution or misuse. So the intention should be has to be safeguarded. But and then legal issues some in the sense we may infringe the others because we think that the available things are that's what remixing, the different license are there. You cannot remix it without the permission of that. So there will be some issues of that. And here now I may have to say that this now artificial intelligence have come up into this. So before people might have not the intention was to create for some other purpose, but the AI is doing it for some other purpose. So the intention was something else and the outputs are something else. So their issues are there. So this can also happen with the technology being more open. And what to be done for this? When we choose a license, we should be choosing an appropriate license, and we should be clearly stating the terms, and we should also know it under what terms we have to. If you are clear enough, then we choose a right license and that will be made available. So when I think that I should be made CC BY, and for me there's no issues, but some may doesn't want to make it a CC BY depending upon the content. And then monitoring of the content may not be possible, but if at all you are cross-checking with the search engines, you may know, and then you may have to write. And mostly it's all the remedy is we should educate ourselves and also our peers. Then only we will be using the more proper order will be there. I'll just skip this thing, rights and responsibilities. In the sense when we have the copyrights with us and we have the responsibilities and also rights. So when we give away to the others on what conditions, the users have the responsibilities on the same. They should not misuse it. That's what is responsibility sites there. And while considering, if you ask me what are the conditions, things I should look at before choosing a license, you should be clear enough on what you want to. I have made one nice painting, and I don't want to be used by by others, taking a photograph and then making it a print of a large wall size and keeping it at their home, which is just equivalent or it's similar to my original painting. Because now with the technology, you can go depth printing. It can directly take you cannot differentiate between what is original and then what is the digitally copied. So then you should be in a where like when you're choosing to give the works available, but there are people who gives freely on the internet or for any purpose. Some have the some issues. Why issues? Because they might have done for the livelihood, and if a painter has put up a lot of effort in painting something, or he has written a poem and it has been put into public domain, and not public domain, it is just there on the internet, and somebody has used it for the commercial purpose and minted a lot of money, and the creator doesn't have got any money back to him. So there he should be, but how many of us will be aware for what is going to be happen in future, how our contents will be used? But if you are clear enough that what means what you want to make your work made available, so you get a thought thing into your mind, and then you choose the appropriate license. It doesn't means for when we talk about the scholarly communications, our guiding force is only one thing: public good. So for public good, we have to make it available. But if it is for our livelihood purpose, then we have the other conditions to look into this. And there are the resources available here. The Creative Commons is the best place to know more about it, and the publishers and the authors may look at the Sherpa. 1 minute, somebody, is it from IG? Hello? Yes? Sherpa Romeo is the one website where it has the, publishers' copyright policies have put up into the place. The publishers have taken a licensing of their content, under what license conditions they have given for that are mentioned in the Sherpa Romeo. And Creative Commons is the website where you learn how to choose a license and which license has to be given. This is the Creative Commons license, Creative Commons website, and it has more educational things, and also what it does and how you can share your work. All these things can be learned from this. And now to tell you, like, the global summit is going to happen in October. It has already asked for people to sign up to receive the messages, updates, and also we can apply for the scholarship. And it also runs Creative Commons licensing courses. Some are paid, not all, everything is paid for that. But if you want to apply, and then there is a scholarship also, you can apply for it and then get a certification on the learning what you have done. So this is a website, you can go and look at it. Here, this share your work, if you look at it, click on that, this option will come, choose a license. It has different questions it will ask you. Depending upon that, it will generate a license that you can copy it into like a HTML. You can place on your website. If it is for website, it will ask you. It says whether you are putting on a book, it gives another wording. And if you are putting on a blog, what should be like, all these things can be easily taken and copied. And you can also have a default license for your blog. If you have a WordPress blog and you are writing an article or for the posting a blog post, it can have a default license, which you can choose it before and add to the add-on widget to the WordPress. All your content will be made available under the license. And how a license look is like this. If you after choosing it, it will grant you one license. This is CC by International 4.0 version. It is global international version, but country specific license also can be generated. We had a CC by India version 2.0 when Creative Commons was having a office in India at the time. A few years back at Bombay, IIT Bombay was hosting it. It's a community office kind of thing only. It was for India specific. Now, when you see CC by 4.0 is international license. It has, when you look at it, it says what you can do it. Like, see, there is a approved for free culture also. we were talking about water free culture. So this license is approved for free culture, where it can be used to share or remix with others, and the same content can be shared by others. For even for after using, they can share it. They can also adapt it under the conditions like attribution. And there is on the right side, you can see there is another text which is small, like, but it's a legal text, like legal wordings are written here. Here I want to say it. It doesn't mean that you are giving away all the rights. Copyrights are still with you. Copyrights are still with you, and you are not giving away your copyright if you are using a CC BY license. Unless if you are using a public domain license, the copyright is not given away to everyone. Still, you have the copyrights, and it's all legally bound, and it's only license to use under these terms and conditions. So there is no, we should not say that we are losing our IPR or copyrights to others. Wikipedia has this text for the, it is unported license 3. What we have seen is unported license 4. So they have the license. So different versions of license are there, which has a different conditions. When the Open Science recommendation has been adopted by the UNESCO, they made all their publications available under the Creative Commons license CC BY and CC BY SA, share alike only. And I was talking about, if you look at the this advanced search engine of Google, you can filter with the usage rights. At the bottom, you can see not filtered by license. If you click on that, it will give you more other options. Using that, you can get the filtered things. Like suppose if you want to use a nice photograph for your book cover page, which is a commercial, and if you are looking for a particular picture, you can search under the which filter with the commercial aspects. Then you are not infringing it. But only thing is you need to attribute the creator's the original work's name. And I was talking about the preprint repositories. This is one research care. It has a default license of CC BY license. When I uploaded my preprint, it has taken the license CC BY 4 license. So I know that if I am putting here, I have to use this CC BY. So before I should take an informed decision, should I make it available or not? So I'm convinced. So I have used this CC BY license. This is the Sherpa Romeo website, where you can search with the publisher name or the journal title to look at what are the policies. And we have our journal registered here. And this is licensed for the non-commercial purpose. The same thing has been registered. And the text has been given on our website, like under what conditions the authors retain the copyright, and it is licensed to the journal publisher and also for the readers under the CC BY NC-SA, non-commercial share alike. Though it's not a free license, but we are using it. And like I was talking, like we should know before when we choose a different license, what is our intended use. I want my paper to be read, my paper to be cited, my data to be used, my figures of the article has to be used. If I am convinced that if there is no issue, then I can choose a similar CC BY license. Or if I want somebody to attribute, then I have to go CC BY. Otherwise, I will be choosing a CCO public domain. And like if I think that I should make it under the share alike same conditions, I should be using it. The legal jurisdiction, that is international or only country specific. Or if I should make it more compatible with others, so then I should be considering those licenses which are compatible to be remixed with the other. And legal requirements. If I means what does mean I want to say here is like, I cannot license somebody else's work. I can only license my work. If I am the copyright owner, I can license. My journal is licensing under Creative Commons license, but we are asking the authors to choose. When they submit their articles, we'll ask them that these articles, once it is accepted and published, will be made available under this license. Are you agreeing to that? If they say yes only, it will be made available. And there is no other way. They have to say yes, because that is the policy of the journal. And see, then what is happening, like I was saying that, and about open licensing, all these things. So like I'm a learning, like somebody is teaching me. So I got convinced that I should use a open license. Okay, then when I submitted my paper, it got accepted, and the publisher has sent me a mail that you have to give you have to transfer the copyright agreement. I wanted to use the open licensing, but publisher wants to take my copyright. So what I should do it? So I should scrutinize. I should scrutinize the agreement, in which I should state my things into that. I say, you permit my preprints to be made available under this license, postprints under this license, and the printed version after embargo licensed on these aspects. So all these things have to choose. I have to mention to them, and this has been also automated. Like if you want to give the same, generate a letter in response to the mail or the letter given by the publisher. If you visit this addendum website, Spark, now the URL might have changed, SPRC. SPRC has given an author addendum wherein you can you can mention your title, and also you can choose the different license or whatever you want. Once you do it, a text will be generated that needs to be attached to the copyright transfer agreement. That can be done. And somebody has done like this, but publisher says, I will not accept it. So what they have done is, they have retracted, they have taken back the paper from that journal, and they submit to a public repository preprints. That's what the tweet which is mentioned here, that they went to a publisher that it should be openly licensed, but they say no. So they took back and they made it available under the Creative Commons license at a public repository, because their intentions are clear. They know beforehand what they want to do it. So that is clear for us. Like maybe when we are confusion, so we have to go look at the aspects under what conditions we should say make it. If you see the misconceptions about open licensing, I was saying that most of us will think that we are giving away the intellectual property. No, it is not like that. It is not same away as giving the intellectual property. We, the creators, still have the ownership and control, but we will provide the mechanism of sharing and collaborating that while still protecting the rights of creators. So this is about open licensing. And to know more about it, there is one book has been published by the Commonwealth of Learning, Copyrights and OERs. So under this, here we can know under what licensing we can give, and what license can be used for remix for the educational resources. And there is another group of people, another segment of people who are working on making more things, works creatively, and also making them available for people to use it. That is called the free culture movement. They want to distribute and modify the creative works using internet and other forms of media. So because of the internet and technology, as I said, it can be used for making more creative, and also make it available more copies at a time. All these things are possible. So under this technology conditions, how we can share our content and also make more creative. And they were of an idea that they should give away everything as not free of cost. It is free of freedom, more of freedom. So many other movements have come, like copyleft movement is also one thing, and public domain movements. They want to give everything into public domain. Here, when we talk about the freedom, so what they defined is freedom to use the work and enjoy the benefit of using it, freedom to study the work and apply knowledge acquired from it, freedom to make and redistribute copies in whole or part of it, freedom to make changes and improvements, and to distribute derivative works. So that much freedom has to be given for any work for the public good. This is another school of thought, and people are working onto that. And there are many creative works which are being made available under the free licensing, and some of the other licenses which we can talk, or which can club as if we can designate them as a free culture. Or again, the CERN open hardware license is one of the license under free culture. GNU and MIT license, Creative Commons by CC BY, all these things which we now just talked about, or can be made count as a free culture. And open licensing is it can be equivalent to this free culture if the open licensing is one of this. And which are the CC license, which are, again, you see before closing free cultures, it is CC BY and CC BY SA, and the public domain only are the free culture works. The rest everything are not free culture, means you cannot mix them. Mix in sense, I told, like text, picture, and sound of 3 different license cannot be mixed unless they are all either of CC BY or CC BY SA. In summary, I say that the open licensing has many benefits, and only thing is we should be knowing it more. We can we should be part of the workshops, or to hear more other legal people who are talking about the open licensing. Then we should get our doubts cleared, and then take a stand on what aspects we should be giving our works available over internet under a license. But everything which we share has to be either licensed as either already reserved or public domain, or under some licensing things. Unless we make it, there will not be any identifiable things. You cannot identify a person who has created a works. It gets unnoticed. So, and as a call for action, I would like to say that we, the scholarly communication, means people who are in this scholarly communications, should understand and also disseminate our works, which will help the others to use it under the open licensing. And there are many groups wherein we can join, learn. And this Creative Commons licensing has a global commons network, CCGN they call, and we can also be part of it. I'm a part of it. Like, somebody have to recommend you when you apply for an as application to that. And you here, you can learn many things if you are part of this. Lot of schools, lot of webinars, lot of workshops they conduct. Through that we can learn many of this. And in India we have one group called the Open Access India, a community which is working to learn more about this openness, and create a more environment wherein people share many of the things which they created for the public good under a proper licensing called the open licensing. So I'll end here. I would like to take any questions, and if at all.
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar, for a wonderful talk about open licensing and how it can be applied for the author's work. I hope our students have gained knowledge about how they can license their work, their works when they start writing research papers or start writing their thesis. Some of the PhD students are here. So now the session is open for discussion. So if you have any questions, you are requested to please raise. And so, I request Dr. Sridhar to answer if any of the questions are there.
Yes.
Please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask for the questions. Any questions? Okay, I have one question before we went. Sridhar, you talked about how Creative Commons can be applied to individual works. So how about the institution? For example, IJDA tomorrow decides to have its own open access policy and want to apply the Creative Commons CC BY, for example, for all its works. So we need to register like individuals on the Creative Commons and start applying it. How is that?
No registration. See, the website will help you to choose the license of your choice.
Yeah.
If you know about the license beforehand, you straight away apply that license. It is an application, no registration.
Okay.
And the UNESCO is organization, they took a stand that their works will be available under the CC by SA.
Okay.
For all the works they conduct. Like publisher from our side, they have taken one stand. That is the organization or the publisher size. Individually, when you create something, you can also use, like for my presentation, I should have used a CC by license or CC by SA or NC.
Right.
It should be an institutionalized policy. And recently, this University of Haryana, Central University has taken
Right.
up. They are using the Creative Commons, like in CSAR repository. They took a stand to use a non-commercial share alike.
Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you very much. If you don't have any questions, I'll just convey a vote of thanks. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to express our sincere thanks to Professor Basant Kumar Pradhan, Director and Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Jaymohan Pandit, Registrar, for giving us the support and the encouragement to organize this webinar. Secondly, I would like to express our sincere thanks to Dr. Jyoti Sarkar, Professor and Coordinator IQAC IGIDR, for our support. Thanks to Dr. Manisha Jain, Assistant Professor and Co-Coordinator IQAC IGIDR, for her introductory remarks and welcoming the speaker. Thirdly, our sincere thanks to Dr. Sridhar Gutam for agreeing to be the speaker of today's webinar in spite of his busy schedule. Dr. Sridhar, you have touched upon various areas of open licensing, and layer by layer you explained how it can be applied, and also you talked about misconceptions about open licensing, and also how we think as an author, how if I make my open content open, so plagiarism may happen. That also you are clear how we need to think, how we need to decide upon what we want to do. Really, it's really commendable, which is I'm sure will be very helpful. And I hope it will help our researchers to make their publication using open license, such as Creative Commons. We also express thanks to all our faculty members, students, staff, and participants from the other institution for attending this event. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, each one of you once again, and thank you, Dr. Sridhar, for being with us and delivering an excellent talk on open licensing. Thank you very much.
And all the attendees for this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.